Steph, you've been quite a champion for women's basketball. So how big is it and impactful is it that a W team is going to come out here to the Bay Area?
It's awesome. I remember being in Charlotte back in the day when the Sting showed up for the first time, and the energy around the city was awesome. And so knowing the journey of the WNBA and the opportunity for expansion and the fact that you have a team here in the Bay is going to be fun. Obviously, been paying attention to the finals are a couple of days, and there's no better time for growing women's basketball, women's sports in general, and the investment in the game. So it's exciting. I know there's a lot to kind of to figure out and be announced, team name, the schedule, all that before summer 25. But just the fact that like you said, it's growing, it's expanding, it's here. It should be awesome.
And with Joe in particular, as an owner of that team, what does that do for a franchise? Obviously when Joe bought the Warriors, Steve was talking about how he gave you guys all of the resources to become what you are now. So as you're starting an expansion franchise, having a guy like Joe who's really willing to put everything behind what he says, what can that do for a young organization?
I mean, great learning experience from our last 12 years since the Joe and Peter and the whole group took over. The dedication to winning, first and foremost, and like you said, providing every opportunity to do that, being able to spend around the franchise, from facilities to coaching to the resources we have behind the scenes, the way that they treat players, and so there's obviously a different model with the WNBA, but finding a way to be top tier, I'm sure is how they want to approach it. So executing that and seeing it kind of lived out with how those ladies come in and experience playing for this franchise should be awesome.
Steph, along those lines, you say top tier. He guaranteed a title within the first 5 years.
Yeah, of course he did.
Sound about right for Joe?
Absolutely. Gotta be bold with the vision, I guess, and that's a way to plant your flag for sure. He's got a good track record right now, though.
Yeah. Did you realize his kind of passion and love for women's basketball that goes back decades to being an original investor in the ABL and starting to like the 90, latch onto the 96, Olympic championship team from Atlanta?
That didn't come up in our conversation, but it makes a lot of sense in terms of I know he just loves sports, obviously, in general, and finding different ways to be a part of teams. And I learned something today about his history, so that's cool. It's kind of a full circle opportunity to take that love and interest of the game and be a part of the WNBA's expansion.
Step over here. Michelle Smith. I've covered Stanford for a long time. Is it time to lobby Cam to ask her keeper to stay fifth year and then come out in 2025?
I would say that wouldn't be the first time she's been asked about that and that plan. We'll see what happens, but it is kind of surreal to just with the timing of knowing whether it's next summer or the summer after that, she'll be kind of making that transition to the league, and haven't seen her from the time she was almost a baby to now. It's kind of wild for her. The whole point is just to be locked in, obviously, on her season and leading the Stanford women's team to hopefully another championship like she did her freshman year. But yeah, the horizon looks pretty solid no matter where she ends up in the WNBA or when it is. But that would be kind of cool to have her with with this franchise. It's so weird talking about without knowing the name. I'm like, with this Golden State franchise. Say what?
Any ideas for a name?
I don't give out the ideas for free.
Steph, if you were going to build, just in a fantasy world, if you were going to build an expansion team with 2 or 3 WNBA players, who would you choose?
Right now? That's a great question. Obviously Asia. Asia, Stewie, and I'd probably take Sabrina. Those three. It's a solid trio. We'll see all three of them next week, or no, this weekend. So easy picks.
You've been working out with Chris post practice. I assume, does that go beyond just this week? I mean, I know it's the first official practice, but working out with Chris,
Does it?
does that
That
go
pattern?
beyond this week?
Oh, I'm not sure. I know there's parts of it is like us getting into shape and building our chemistry and understanding a little bit of the sets that we're going to run and different things that we can kind of stretch each other into. You know, he obviously plays a certain way, I play a certain way, and there's kind of a challenge there of I'll lead a certain part of the workout, he'll lead a certain part of the workout, and we can, kind of sharpen the toolkit that way. Over time, I'm sure there'll be times where we do stuff individually just based off of what our needs are, but it's really good right now in terms of the pace that we're trying to go and the work we're trying to put in, the accountability to take advantage of training camp, that we're doing it together. So I've enjoyed it so far for sure.
Yeah, what have those conversations been like, and kind of how different is it? You've had a lot of different pairings over the years, but how different is this pairing considering, how he's very traditional point guard coming in?
It's different just in that respect because he's proven over the course of his career he's one of the greatest with the ball in his hands in terms of decision making and being able to, again, just organize and orchestrate an offense and play at his pace. So there's going to be some give and take, and it's still early to really kind of predict what it looks like, but in terms of when we're out there together on the court, I know how to play off the ball. I've done it plenty of times. We have certain sets that can highlight what we all do well, and then there's going to be times when he's on the floor by himself, and we can cater the offense to what he's traditionally used to doing. But I know he's been very adamant and intentional about figuring out the patterns and the ways that we create shots and create offense, not kind of that motion offense, and being a threat there too. And that's just going to take time to develop, knowing we're only in day 3. So excited about that challenge overall, but the ability for us to kind of adapt on the fly within games, no matter who the lineup is got to be our strength, because that's what the scenario calls for.
Did you play much pickup with him this summer?
Yeah, a lot.
Same team,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously you have these first 3 days. How much has it become more comfortable? And just what are your early impressions of those lineups where you're both in it?
The I guess the summary is it's mad fun. Like if I get the rebound, I push. I can throw it ahead and transition, knowing he's pretty sure with the ball. He makes the right decision. He's been really good catching and shooting when he's open, moving out the basketball. We had me, him, and Clay in certain runs this summer where he was calling out stuff that he had been scouting against for years, and it kind of came the joke of, the different looks that he knew were coming, and he's like, oh, yeah, I used to do this, y'all used to do that. So it's pretty seamless, really, to be honest. And I mean, there's challenges in terms of how we match up and, making sure we're defensively sound and how we play on that end of the floor and how we adapt with the other 3 guys that are out there with us, whoever that is. But offensively, really seamless because we're just playing good basketball, and whether it's whatever kind of organization you've been from time we were kids, that's how you used to play. So kind of remember that.
You mentioned defense being the bigger question mark. What are the keys when it's you and him out there, and even smaller down the lineup?
We've had that challenge for a while, just with lineups that we've thrown out there, especially when Draymond's been at the 5. We played smaller. You obviously have to rebound, and there's an attention to detail on mechanics and reads that can help us do our work early, so you're not just trying to get rebounds above the rim. Matchup wise, like it depends on the game. What the scout report is, we'll be able to adapt to that. But that's the beauty and the challenge of what we have in terms of our roster, because each five that you put out there is going to have a strength and they're going to have a weakness, and you have to be able to adapt as we go through. So I think the best part about what we're doing is we're communicating every opportunity that we get, practice, locker room, film room, trying to talk it out and make sure we're getting ahead of it, because there's going to be some tough decisions along the way in terms of minutes. There's going to be some rotations that come and go. You just got to figure out how to make the most of your time out there and what's going to put us in position to win.
Steph, with everything that Andrew Wiggins went through last year, just not very much stability for him in the lineup, being injured several times and sick, and just are you eager to kind of see him get a fresh start for maybe an almost full 82 and just kind of get back into a groove with more continuity?
Absolutely. I think we're all athletes. Obviously, this is our job, but we're all human beings too, and life throws a lot of things at you, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's, you find your kind of peace of mind. And for him to come into a season with the right intentions, I heard the way he's been talking about it, his preparation and the way he's looked in the first 3 days of camp. I'm excited for him. It seems like he's having fun. He loves playing basketball. I think he feels very comfortable here with us after these last almost 4 years. So it's exciting for everybody to get a fresh start, knowing where we're trying to go. We're trying to win a championship. So we need every single person that's going to rock our uniform this year to be their best self, Andrew included.
With Chris Paul coming here, obviously, he's drawn a lot of headlines. I feel like under the radar a little bit. You have Moses and Jonathan coming into their third year, and a lot of people are expecting a big leap. Just, I guess, what are your expectations of them as they come into the season, and what have you seen from them over your guys' summer workouts together and just in the early goings in camp?
Maybe the soundbite sounds the same every year. It's like you want them to take the next step, but that's true. But it's all about the foundation of them understanding what, again, they're going to be asked to do, and their understanding of how we play and on both ends of the floor, and trying to limit mistakes, but not be afraid of making mistakes, if that makes sense. Because when you're out there, you got to play free. You got to play aggressive. You got to be the dog that got you here. You got to have that healthy ego of knowing you belong, but playing within the system and within what you're asked to do. Like, that's the challenge. And so for both of those guys, I'm excited about their opportunity to do that. And I know coaches talked about it. They're going to get an opportunity out there. They're going to play. They're going to be in the rotation to start, and they're going to have. We're gonna need them to have our depth that we need to get through our 82 games schedule, and to have the right options going into a playoff series. So all the same stuff is just continue to add a little bit of confidence and a little bit more experience to what they do. And I think they've been showing it pretty early in camp. Like I said, it's still early, and when we get out there on Saturday, it's another opportunity for them to build on that foundation, take it from there.